The Kansas City Air Show will fill the sky over Johnson County's New Century Air Center this Independence Day weekend. On this episode, hear from organizers, performers, as well as the host for this year's event.
Whether you live in or just love Johnson County, Kansas, JoCo on the Go has everything Johnson County. Here's what's happening and what's coming up in the community you call home.
Thanks for joining us for JoCo on the Go. I'm your host, Teresa Fried, a Johnson County resident and employee of Johnson County government. Plenty of things got canceled or postponed in 2020 thanks to the pandemic, the Kansas City Air Show being one of them. But now it's back and just around the corner. Here to tell us about it, we have with us Aaron Otto, Johnson County Airport Commission Executive Director. And we also have with us Jade DeGood with the Air Show and the Shutterleys, pilots performing at the Air Show and also originally from Johnson County. Is that right?
That's correct. We lived in Johnson County, Olathe area for 25 years. And I recently retired in 15. So.
All right. Well, thank you all once again for being here with us today. It sounds like we've got a plane going by right now. So first off, let's just talk a little bit about this year's Air Show. We also want to know about New Century's involvement in the Air Show.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. This will be the first major air show in a number of years out at New Century, and we're thrilled to have back a lot of local talent, a number of people known throughout the country, but then the chance to host one of the performance teams with the Navy Blue Angels, which I think is the first time I've heard they might be at New Century since the 1950s, back when the installation was the Olathe Naval Air Station. So it's been quite a while in the making, and we were looking forward to an air show in 2020, but that obviously had to take a slight pause, and so we're super excited over 4th of July weekend to welcome back the Blue Angels to New Century.
All right. And Jade, do you want to tell us a little bit about what people can expect out there?
Absolutely. So what's cool about this event is that it is truly a family-friendly event. So not only do we have the Blue Angels, we have 25 other performers, not just the Blue Angels, but 25 other performers, including the Shutterly Squadron that we have here with us today. But we also have a lot of static displays on the ground. I believe we have about 18 other planes that you can walk right up to, take photos of with your family, and really kind of see some military and civilian planes right up there close. And then also a lot of experiences as well with the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Air Force, and some STEM activities as well for kids, for little kids up to older kids. So really, this is a family-friendly event. We were bummed that we couldn't have it last year. Everyone is just ready to get out of the house and do something together as a family. So we're excited to be a part of this.
And speaking of the Blue Angels, this year's extra special for them as well. Is that right?
That is correct. It's their 75th anniversary. They are the second oldest aerial demonstration team in the world, second only to a team in France. So it's kind of a big deal. And they're also bringing out the Super Hornet, which is a little bit bigger, a little bit louder, which, is going to be very exciting for the crowd. And I think you'll notice kind of the difference between the two airplanes if you've seen the Blue Angels perform before.
Awesome. Anybody who spends any time with Aaron gets a wealth of information about our airports, which is always amazing to me. And so I wanted to also provide a platform for Aaron to share a little bit of the history of the Air Center with our listeners. So if you can tell us a little bit about the importance of this place for Johnson County.
Absolutely. Originally, this installation was part of what was called the Great Prairie Navy. And in 1941-42, construction started out in southwest Johnson County of a Navy base, yes, in the middle of the Midwest, in the middle of, in the east side of Kansas, as an opportunity to train pilots for World War II. And they were known as the Flying Jayhawks. That mission continued for a number of years at Olathe Naval Air Station, which is between Gardner and Olathe. It had a couple other outlying fields, one of which is now Johnson County Executive Airport, another is Gardner's Municipal Airport. And a tornado came through in 1943, wiped out a number of the trainers, and so a number of back missions started filling in for the previous training mission. And so Olathe Naval Air Station, the one between Gardner and Olathe, which is now New Century, stayed a military base all the way through 1970 with a variety of different missions. It's hosted every branch of the armed services and it continues to host an Army Reserve Group and Chinook Squadron at New Century to this day. And so today they're both operated, Johnson County Executive and New Century are operated as GA airports by Johnson County government, and Gardner City government operates the Gardner Municipal Airport. So a great legacy, great history, and it's that much special knowing this place started as a Navy base to have, again, the Blue Angels back and being able to host. And a lot of people, this will be their first time of seeing Johnson County does have airports, some of the busiest in the state for that matter. This last year, New Century was number 2 in the state, and Johnson County Executive was number 4 in the state. So you put the two together. Johnson County had the business airport system in the state last year in 2020, which is kind of hard to believe. But through COVID, a lot of jet chartering and other activities were taking place. So very excited about this opportunity to talk about our history, but really looking forward to what's going to be in the air on the 3rd and the 4th.
All right. And before we started the recording the episode here, I was just sharing that I got the chance to go out to the airport there with my son's Boy Scout group. And very few people, or maybe it is more well known than I realized, but there is a museum out there which has some really impressive displays and wonderful volunteers out there who just have a ton of information to share. And I think, Jeff, you are sitting in that space right now. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about where you're at and what's behind you.
Sure. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, I'm in the commemorative Air Force hangar here at Johnson County, what used to be called Johnson County Industrial New Century Air Center. And you can kind of see behind me, this is my airplane behind me, that'll be in the show. And then over here, you can see the hangar space. The original founders of this group actually built this hangar themselves right on the ramp. It was actually right on the concrete of the ramp, and it's since been improved quite a bit. But it's a cool group of folks and really love aviation, like to share it with people. And they get together every, I think, second Saturday or something if you want to come out and check it out during the warm months. So sure they'll have some activities going on during the show too, probably not during the actual show because it's on the side of the show where we're going to be doing aerobatics. So that'll all be cleared out. Everything will be on the west side of the airport. But beautiful sky here. Actually, we were here last night with the weather moving through, and you get such an amazing view in all directions. It's not something you see all the time.
Well, thanks for that little tour there. So now I want to hear more about your performance. Can you talk about your family's involvement in the show?
So we're the Shetterly Squadron. We started flying together in 2015. Joe Rifle Shetterly, who's also on the Zoom call, was our first airshow pilot in the family. But not the first pilot. Dad, Greg Shetterly, taught us all how to fly, including my mom, Mickey, who's also a really good pilot and flight instructor. Joe flew the A-10 West Demo team demonstration for 2 years in 2010 and 11, and kind of made such good friendships in the airshow industry that the civilians in the airshow industry really asked him to come back and be a part of it, in a more permanent way. And that really opened the door for all of us to start to get into it. So Dad was flying competition aerobatics. The little red airplane you can see behind him, he built himself actually by plans and raw materials, which we're all very proud of and remember the many years that it was in the basement in the garage and just seemed like a project, a model airplane it was never going to finish. But now it's an amazing fire breathing Dragon, and he flies it really well and just kind of blows us away. And in 2015, we started flying shows together. And then in the last couple of years, we've begun to do formation aerobatics together, which is a whole different level of performance. So doing, flying is its own challenge. Landing an airplane is a challenge. Doing aerobatics is a challenge. And doing aerobatics on the wing with somebody else is a whole different level. And we've really enjoyed learning that skill together.
That's really impressive. I don't know if Greg or you want to talk about just your passion for this and why you keep doing it.
Well, I've been in aviation my whole entire working career. And the thing about aviation and aerospace is that it's a never-ending learning experience. There's constantly new challenges that come up. And the toughest one truly is what Jeff mentioned, doing formation aerobatics together in dissimilar airplanes, but it's also a wonderful joy because I get to do it with my two sons, and amazingly enough, they still like me mostly. So we have a great time together, but we also work very hard together to make it come together and be presentable to the public. But it's a passion that it's just been with me all my life since I was a young child, and my wife shares the passion, and she's a flight instructor and has her own aircraft. And you'll see her at the air show. She'll be announcing for us, and she'll be flying in our support airplane as well. So we're all in it, and we're all in it together.
And can you talk a little bit about the choreography? What will people see you guys doing?
We have a lot of things that we can do, and what we try to do is make sure that whatever we present is safe and exciting. So so you're always balancing sort of the safety side, which is paramount. That's all we have to do is be safe. That's how we consider it. There are famous air show bosses who say that. But on the other hand side is, you want it to be exciting. So we will each kind of show off. We each have, behind Joe, you can kind of see his background shows our 3 different airplanes, and they're very different airplanes. The silver one is a sport airplane. It does aerobatics really well. The yellow one is a World War II airplane. It's very heavy and big and grand. And then Dad, like I said, has the unlimited aerobatic plane that can, sort of pop your head off if you're not careful. And so we each kind of show the various attributes of those planes. We start out usually together. We break off and do single ship, we call, like each person has a ship or 2 ship parts of our act. And then sometimes we'll even bring it together and do some big maneuvers to close the show, all 3 together, which is a tricky thing. And it's been a fun thing for us to master, or try to master, I guess you could say.
All right. And Joe, do you want to share a little bit about sort of your experience with this? Have you guys had any close calls, or you're super, super skilled and everything is seamless?
Yeah, I don't know that I would say everything is seamless. I think Dad alluded to it a little bit. It's like anytime you see someone that executes at a public performance level, whether it's sports or anything else, oftentimes the guys that do it the best make it look easy. And so I think we all know what goes into that is when you've tried to go out and play tennis like Roger Federer and you realize, oh, that guy must have spent endless hours figuring out how to do that. So I think that's what we strive for, is that by the time the show comes around, it feels routine. So we talk about an aerobatic performance as a routine. So it's something that we've rehearsed over and over again. So there's joy in that process. And like both Jeff and Dad said, we just really enjoy the time that we spend together practicing and rehearsing, and we're making lifelong memories doing that. And it's what we're passionate about, and we're passionate about sharing it with the local community. So we're excited to do it right in our backyard, right where I grew up, and in Johnson County. That's a real privilege to do it at home.
Right. That's great. And so just finally, Jade and Aaron, if you want to talk about how people can get involved, how they can come and check things out.
Well, so tickets are limited for the the upper tiers. They went very, very fast, especially on Saturday. So the only ones that we still have are some premium tickets for Sunday. But general admission, there's still plenty of tickets available Saturday or Sunday. That gets you in the door to see all of the cool stuff, both in the sky and then also all of our static displays and the experiences that we have. So that's super exciting. So you can go to kcairshow.org. That is where you buy your tickets. When you're there, also reserve your parking spot. That's very important. You can pay for premium parking, or you can park for free. We have 3 parking lots that are free parking lots. And then we've gotten a lot of buses that are going to go to those parking lots and bring you to the site. And I know Aaron has talked to me a little bit in the past, just talking about that. That's going to be our best bet of getting this number of people onto the airport and at the air show and in the door in the quickest way possible. So yes, make sure that you go online, get your tickets, reserve your parking spot, and remember which parking area that you're going to day of. I believe we're going to have some wristbands as well for you, so you remember which one you're going back to at the end of the day. Because our whole goal is to make sure that as soon as you get to the parking lot, you're having a good experience. As soon as you get into the air show, that experience continues, and that experience will continue all the way until you leave the parking lot. So that is definitely our goal. Aaron, what else do you have to add?
I would just add, just in a slightly different note, that it's amazing to see what all goes into making an air show possible. And you've got an incredible sponsor like KC Air Show Charities, which helped put on the 2019 show at MKC, or downtown in Kansas City, Missouri. And you take their experiences, which was Air Show Operator of the Year in 2019, if I remember correctly, winning national awards for their demonstration. But we just had our first in-person meeting recently as a coordinating group. We've been doing all this on Zoom for the last year. There was 70 plus people in the room. You'd be absolutely amazed at the alphabet soup of different groups and organizations that have to come together, because without one of them, like take NOAA, which helps do weather forecasting, you're missing an important part of the ingredients that make the air show possible, down to the logistics with busing. And then, needless to say, all that's just the logistics platform of putting this together so the folks can come out and do an incredible job with their performance teams, the demonstration teams that are here. I heard incredible stories about the number of people that wanted to come and be part of this air show. You're going to see a different airplane if you come out at 9 o'clock when things start, I think in the air about every 7 to 10 minutes, always constantly turning in terms of different activities going up in the sky. And so there's, as Jade said, there's activities on the ground and in the air all day long from basically 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock on both days, and hope to see a good crowd come out and bring water with you and bring your sunscreen and have a great 4th of July weekend.
That sounds awesome. Well, thank you all for being here once again, and I hope you guys have a great show, and thank you for listening.
You just heard JoCo on the Go. Join us next time for more Everything Johnson County. Have a topic you want to discuss? We want to hear from you. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at JoCoGov. For more on this podcast, visit jocogov.org/podcast. Thanks for listening.